All right, welcome back to the Dirty Hands of the Republic, where we talk to retired officers and soldiers who've gotten their hands dirty defending our republic. And today we have retired Sergeant Chris Andersen, who wrote a really good book. It's called The Sniper, and it's hunting a serial killer. Now, this book is about a true story that occurred here in Houston, Texas, back in 2017, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
In 5 years.
And it was about their efforts to hunt down a group of serial murderers who were also robbery suspects, who were doing a significant amount of damage to our city and engaged in a series of robberies that were extremely violent. And unfortunately, it was completely ignored, I believe, for political reasons, that the administration didn't want to draw attention to the wrong people. And so the best way to lie to the public is to never tell them the truth. And that is what happened here. So
he's going, I don't know this guy.
So, Sergeant Andersen, can I call you that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No. Call me Chris.
Okay, well, Chris is going to talk to us about it and his experiences that he's documented in this book. And here's my partner over here, Joe Fenwick.
I was there during when the book was written. I facilitated their training. I was honored to facilitate North Tax training, just actually securing them a place to set up scenarios and stuff. I'm not the one who taught them for sure because I don't have that kind of expertise. But these guys would come to training, and all of a sudden, all of them leave. Just boom, got to go. I would be talking to guys at night, and he's like, "Oh, there are guys on the move." This went on for months and months. Tireless crime crushing.
How much overtime did you get?
A lot.
Oh, good.
Well, it was a stress on my family, too, because I was literally gone for days and weeks, sleeping at the office.
Oh, wow. Very cool. So tell us about the book. It's called The Sniper. It's 563 pages. Yes?
Yeah, it's the first book I ever wrote. And it was a bunch of people in the department that wanted me to write the book. And so, I did it. And it's not politically correct, and there's a lot of nitty-gritty in it, and it's done better than I thought it would. People say that they really enjoy the stories.
So you use people's real names in this book?
Some.
Okay. So you changed some and some are real?
No, I didn't change any names. If I may allude to, this assistant chief said this, or if I had witnesses and I was actually physically there, then I would say, well, Chief Eisman told me this, or this is what was stated, or the FBI SAC said this, or Chief Durden said this.
Okay, so a side story. You were telling us earlier that Art Acevedo thought you might be talking bad about him in the book. How did that affect your career?
So I was going to retire, say May the 1st of 2020. And I wrote the book. It's going to be marketed on Amazon. And I was going to retire before the book was actually published. And Amazon put a advertisement out about it with the book forward, where I talked about corruption in the upper reaches of the department. And they got wind of it. I was relieved of duty. I retired the next day, and then they gave me a dishonorable retirement going out.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then you had to appeal that.
Yeah, and they didn't even show up for the hearing. And it was kind of ironic. Acevedo actually, after the hearing, and I got my honorable, he starts messaging me on Facebook, "Hey, man, it's all good. And, how's your family?" Like we were best buddies.
Just business.
Yeah.
Just business. Nothing personal.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So, question, is he in the book at all, Art Acevedo?
Oh, yes.
Did he help or hurt the investigation?
He actually, so I give credit where credit's due. At the time, he actually helped the investigation. It was the previous administrators that I had most of the issues with. That he
like McClellan?
No, McClellan was already gone, but it was actually Durden and Eisman.
Okay, and what were their issues with the investigation?
So it's a little bit of a story.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here we go. So, I've been in homicide, I've been in SWAT, and kind of framing my thinking was that particularly in the tactical community, is, you risk a lot to save a lot, you risk little to save little, you risk nothing to save nothing. And then you also have a priority of life while you conduct operations. Citizens come first, Police officers come second, suspects come third. We want everybody to come home safe, but that's the priority. So if you follow if there's an active shooter and he's in the school and he's shooting kids, if, the police officers, the priority of life is police officers first, well, then you don't go in because you may get shot. No, we're going to go in and we're going to try and save the innocent citizens, and we may have to shoot the suspects. So priority of life. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So in my deal, in the last couple of years, we developed a way to track robbery suspects using vehicle trackers and other surveillance techniques. And we found ourselves time and time again present while aggravated robberies were being committed by these serial suspects. Almost exclusively, they are black male gang members from the north side.
How many people did they murder?
Well, there's many different crews. So in the sniper crew, 6 would be a good number. There's other information out there, but there's 6. And the people that they were killing, some of them were leading businessmen. Some of them were.
Do you recall any of the names of the victims?
Oh, absolutely. Joe Stewart from Stewart Cadillac. He was killed in a home invasion by this crew. There's a prominent black businessman on the northeast side. They even named a street after him. He had a couple McDonald's, did a lot of entrepreneurial work. He was murdered by this crew.
It's all in the book, isn't it?
Yes, it's all in the book.
Okay.
And then all the others, for the most part, were all armored car couriers within Houston, spread out over several years.
Okay.
Armored car, meaning guys just at work.
Yep.
Taking a bag of money from the armored car to the ATM machine.
All right, so when you say there were several crews, how many crews do you think there were?
Well, there's always crews working. So at any given time, there's 5 or 6 significant crews probably working within the Houston area. We focused mostly on the north side crews because that's where we're assigned to. It's hard to differentiate between the sniper crew and then also all the other crews. We would have names for them, like the Alabonson crew or the, whatever vehicle they were using. What we did over several years is we dismantled many of those crews.
All right, so there were at least, you think, 4 or 5 crews. All right, and over the course of the years, you were able to dismantle all of them?
Many of them.
Okay. My question is did any of these crews know the other crews, or were they copycatting?
So what happens is you have a active crew, and within the crew you have what we call kind of the crash dummies. They're the lesser members, that they do some of the lesser work, but they see what's happening. And so they're going, well, I'm not getting that much of a take on whatever money we got from the pawn shop or the bank. Well, not so much banks, cash store. So I'm going to start my own crew. And so then you have, particularly up in the Acres Homes community on the north side, you would have one crew and then it would start splintering off. And then, after a couple of months or a year or so, then you had 3 or 4 crews working.
All right, so I guess they would be loosely related then to each other.
Yes.
Okay. Did they use the same tactics, or did they change tactics over time?
No, the tactics were, they found a working formula, and it works like this. They would have a stolen truck that they would steal just prior to the robbery.
Uh-huh.
And then they would, load up a robbery crew, guys dressed up, with masks and guns, and that would be the crew that would actually hit, the cash store.
Okay.
At the same time, though, they would have what we call a shot caller, a guy in the parking lot in another vehicle on his cell phone who's going to call in the crew when the time is right. After they do the robbery and whatever happens, then they would transition from the store to the vehicle, the stolen truck, drive just a very short distance, abandon the vehicle, and get picked up by what we call the pickup vehicle.
Okay.
And then they would make their getaway. So you would be left with unknown black males and a stolen truck that hadn't been reported yet, usually taken from some Hispanic parking lot. And that was the formula that they used time and time again.
Okay, all right. And they kind of ravaged the northern part of Harris County for, 2 or 3 years?
No, starting in 2014. It's after the conclusion of the operation, when the department kind of shut us down, we had reduced the robbery rate and the murder rate in the north side almost 50%.
Wow, okay. Anybody get any awards for that?
I got yes, we got some accolades, and the FBI director actually gave me the FBI Director's Award for Excellence,
Okay, wow, that's nice.
just prior to the department giving me a dishonorable retirement.
Well, that's kind of the mystery of the Houston Police Department. People don't ever understand is the misgivings that go on within the department itself. Can you talk about that? Can you?
Sure.
Because it defies logic sometimes.
I think it's a lot of times the decision making of the department at the command staff level is to protect the department or to protect the reputation of the chief or the assistant chiefs or the executive assistant chiefs. In this case, it was Art Acevedo.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always found that it's kind of an egocentric problem. In other words, someone in the command staff has an ego that they're not getting the credit they think they deserve, or people are ignoring because of their lack of experience, to be honest, anything that they suggest.
From what I understand, Acevedo probably thought I was writing bad about him in the book. And so if he gave me a dishonorable, excuse me, he could then discredit the book or discredit me.
Okay. Wow, okay. So that's, very narcissistic kind of leadership.
Have you ever met Art Acevedo?
One time.
Okay.
But very loosely. I mean, it was just one of those meet and greet things. And I was just like, I just wanted to hear what he had to say about what he was going to do for the city of Houston. Only because I was born here, grew up here, and I've lived here my whole life. I actually have an interest in it. And it's funny that the people of the city always elect people who don't give a damn about the city, who then put someone in position of authority, like at the Houston Police Department, who really doesn't care. And I think it goes all the way back to kind of when, I guess the last chief of police would be Nucci.
I was going to say Sam Nucci also.
Yeah, who I think actually kind of cared about what was going on and wasn't using the department as a stepping stone.
Yes.
Sam Nucci was very proactive. He actually told off-duty officers they had to carry their guns and be prepared to take police action when necessary.
Right.
He was old school.
Right, and then every chief since him, I think Bradford is the one who took over from him. Every chief since him has always used the department as a stepping stone to some other hopeful federal assignment, or I'm going to run for mayor, or I'm going to run for some other political office and use my notoriety from the Houston Police Department to achieve it. And it drives me crazy. As somebody who actually lives here, grew up here, I mean, I actually care about what's going on in
Sure.
the department because I know it directly affects the people. And it's even as something as simple as who you recruit, right? And for example, I've noticed kind of a diminishing recruiting return.
Oh, I hear that it's really gone downhill, that the recruiting standards are, they're having trouble getting people right now because of all the politics.
Well, in your book, you talk, I think one of the things you talk about is how I think the TAC team, it was the North Patrol TAC team, or was it North Division, I guess?
North Division.
Okay. And I think that you all wanted to take the lead on actually physically stopping the suspects, and I think the department wanted the SWAT team to do it?
No. The TAC teams, we made a lot of arrests. Those were like prostitution arrests and dope, which really didn't do anything to improve the community because it was just a big revolving door. You arrest some girl, and because you couldn't get at the pimps, and she'd be out 24 hours later. She'd have a rap sheet, totally dysfunctional. And it was kind of discouraging. But what happened was we were comfortable in that niche, and it was actually my supervisor that came in, my captain, and he said, "Stop it. What are you doing about all the aggravated robberies? People are getting killed." And, for all those years doing what we call dope and whores, the department was good about it because, they could go to the civic meetings and go, "Oh, look at this TAC team. They've arrested 37. They made 37 felony arrests. They must be cleaning up your community." We really weren't doing anything, particularly about the violent crime. But it was this particular supervisor that said, "You know what? You're going to do something about aggravated robberies, or I'll find a sergeant that can."
Well, I think he's talking about the actual takedown of the sniper crew.
Okay.
Yeah, so when the actual intervention came and it was time to stop this violent crew, what happened?
So let me just give you a little background. The sniper crew had been operating for several years, and what they did was they would reconnoiter the bank for weeks and months, establish a schedule. Then they would bring in a vehicle that was been specially modified with a sniper loophole in it, with a sniper inside. And when the armored car crew showed up, armored car courier showed up and got out of the armored vehicle, the sniper would shoot the courier. He would fall down on the ground, and then the pickup crew would run in and pick up the bags and head out. And for a while, HPD homicide or the FBI didn't even realize it was a sniper that was killing these couriers. It was thought maybe, they just missed something in the videos, and it was just kind of like a loosely held idea that there may have been a sniper involved. And finally, it came to fruition where, they're using a sniper. This is, like the fourth or fifth one.
What kind of bullet was getting?
223. So like out of an AR-15, they would use a scoped AR-15.
Okay. And I'm assuming the ballistic vest that the courier was wearing would never...
Right through it.
Okay. And so the homicide division, who did they want to take the lead on the investigation?
So it was kind of interesting. I had heard both my captain and I had been former homicide investigators, and we were starting to hear rumors about a sniper. And my captain told me one day, he goes, "You know what? If we ever have an opportunity to work on that case, we're going to put everything we can into it." Well, they had another sniper killing on 290 and up in 290 in Tidwell area, and a spy came forward, and he said, "I think it's this guy, we call him Red Battisti, and I think he's the sniper." Okay, so talked to the spy a little bit more, and just kind of some loose information. But what got us going was that we hadn't told the public, or the public hadn't been told that there was a sniper working. But this guy actually said, "Hey, I think he shoots the guards at long range with a rifle. I've seen it. It's got a scope on it and stuff like that." And so we took that information, and I was able to write up no probable cause for tracking orders to put tracking devices on his vehicle and also on his girlfriend's vehicle. And that's what got the investigation going.
Okay, so there was an informant.
Well, yeah, but homicide and FBI actually had come to North Tac to us because we had become recognized for taking down all these other robbery crews using these other tactics. And they asked us to run surveillance on this particular individual.
Okay, and so ultimately what the informant gave you turned out to be accurate. Okay, do they get paid, or do they get any kind of Crime Stoppers reward, or?
He was paid handsomely.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I'm just curious because a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that's fake. I'm not gonna. I mean, if you look around Facebook and enough, people think the whole Crime Stoppers thing is fake. That they don't actually help people.
He made a considerable amount of money.
Okay, well, good for him. All right, and then so when you go to actually physically arrest these people, what happens? I mean,
well, it was a 3-month around the clock.
Not that I want to spoil the book.
No, it was a 3-month around the clock surveillance. But what happened was, I had a tracking device on his Jeep, and so for weeks we're following him around. And the only thing we knew is that possibly in the last killing they used a white SUV as a sniper platform. That was the theory. And we had a grainy video from a hotel of this vehicle that's backed up to kind of across the street from where the guard was killed. And so one night, my geofence goes off, and the vehicle that I got the tracker on is moving, and I get up in my pajamas, and I'm looking at it, and he leaves, and he goes up to the north side, he goes through an apartment complex, stays there for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then he comes back. The next day I sent some of my guys, "Hey, go follow his route and see if you can find a white SUV that something's not right about it," or, because that's what we're looking for. And my guys are going, "What, are you kidding me? I mean, how many white SUVs are there in the city? How are we going to find the white SUV?" And the two guys that went out, they went through that apartment complex, they drove in real fast, they wrote down all the license plates on the white SUVs they found, they came back out, ran the license plates, and one of them came back to a gray or green Toyota 4Runner. But they had written down the license plates on all the white SUVs. They go back in and they get the back plate, and when they do that, they see that there's a carefully cut out hole in the back of the 4Runner. And now we knew that we had the white SUV that had been used in the sniper. So we started linking it from there. And then it took them several months for the crew to come together to actually, they were going to hit the M&G Bank up in Greenspoint. And we did a decoy operation with a fake armored vehicle, and we ran the sniper vehicle. We were going to ran the sniper vehicle with another armored vehicle we had. Got into a big shootout and killed the sniper, who was actually the head of the crew.
Okay. And how many people do you think he had killed personally?
6 that I know of.
6 that you know of. Okay, so he had.
Which may or may not include some of the crash dummies they would eliminate after each operation, so they wouldn't talk.
This guy they feed to the alligators,
Yep.
Louisiana.
Yeah, well, that was one of the guys had gotten shot by the armored car guard before he died. They were trying to pick up the money, and we never found that guy. And word is it that he was killed in Louisiana and fed to the alligators.
Okay, so any chance we're ever going to see a movie about this?
The book did better than I thought it would, and I had several movie people come around, and I did sign a contract with one particular company. Whether or not it becomes one or not, I have no control.
Well, I hope so.
I do too.
I mean, I think people should really know that this kind of stuff actually goes on, and there are people out there, police officers, who are actually stopping it. And unfortunately, it kind of flies under the radar. I mean, I watch the news, and I know people in the department, and I had not even heard about this because, of course, all of the Trump stuff and the Russian collusion stuff, and we were going to go to war with Russia apparently, and then that just kind of drowned everything else out.
Well, we operated we were pretty low profile and low key. There was an FBI agent assigned to my unit, and he deserves a lot of the credit for some of the things that they did to help facilitate the operation, as well as some ATF agents also.
Are there names in the book?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of pushback you got. I remember reading the book from different agencies and the heads of agencies who weren't involved in it, from the FBI and HPD. And
Well, so here's what happened. When we're doing all these operations, you got the Black Lives Matter going on. You got 5 officers that eventually got killed up in Dallas. But it was all about not appeasing the black leadership of these groups. Unfortunately for us, the suspects that we're exclusively dealing with on the north side were all black males. And so when we're following them, and we watch them do a robbery and we're trying to take them down, we killed a fair number of them. And so the department was very upset. They wanted us to use some other tactic, like a vehicle pursuit, instead of actually confronting.
Harsh language? They wanted you to use harsh language.
Well, you say that, but I've had discussions where some of these people think, the administrators, that if you just use the right words to de-escalate the situation, then you wouldn't have to shoot anybody.
well, I have it right here. Hitler gave it to me himself. The paper, Chamberlain.
Yeah.
I have it here. I talk to him.
Peace in
Not
our
you,
time? Yeah.
you people, not you people. I talk to him. He understands because I explained it to him. That's exactly how these people think. I explained it. I could not shoot that guy.
Yeah,
Because I can talk him down. I can de-escalate.
yeah. So for
How do you de-escalate a serial murderer would be my question.
you don't.
Okay.
Well, it's my understanding this guy, after he was shot, his gun jammed during the shootout. He was shot. He limped out of the car, tried to climb up a chain link fence. They tased him, put him in the ambulance, and he died cussing and screaming, the police officers.
It's true.
Pure evil.
Yeah.
If they just de-escalated.
In conversations I've had, the perception is that if you as a police officer have to use deadly force, then it's a failure on your part because you didn't de-escalate, or you confronted him, or you should have done something else. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem.
It's people who are making decisions based on words like de-escalate instead of in the penal code, okay, and the code of criminal procedure, and what makes time-honored Supreme Court decisions that protect officers and realize there is action beats reaction. Okay, nobody's perfect. Everybody's perception is different. So your perception of serious bodily injury or death is imminent to yourself or a third person may be different than mine. And at the time, you were the one perceiving it.
Well, let me give you some background.
Well, how about this? So this is our first, I guess, video about your book. And so I'd like to conclude that, and then we'll pick up on another video about your experiences, because I kind of want to keep it clean for the audience. Again, it's the Sniper, Hunting a Serial Killer, a True Story by Chris Andersen, retired HPD sergeant. And how much is the book?
It's like $21 on Amazon, and I get like $1.63 from each one.
All right, very cool. So they can order it through Amazon and any other like book distribution service?
Yeah, but the Amazon's the easiest one. There's Book Baby Bookstore, but I would just go through Amazon.
Yeah, you can Kindle and all that.
Yeah.
So I got it. It's on a Kindle.
Okay.
Is Alec Baldwin going to play you in the movie?
Probably Doogie Howser.
Yeah. Hey, he's better than Alec Baldwin.
Or Brad Pitt. We should get Brad Pitt to.
No, that's got to be Bounds.
Okay.
All right, then.
All right. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Dirty Hands of the Republic with Chris Andersen, Joe Fenwick, and Tom Nixon. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please like and subscribe our videos, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks. Bye.
All right, cool. Let's.